Hello everyone, welcome back to online lecture series on engineering thermodynamics. In our previous lecture we have finished second law of thermodynamics, and today we are going to begin a new chapter, that is entropy. So let's begin. So we are beginning our new topic, that is entropy. Our first topic is Clausius theorem. Here, first of all, we will focus on this figure. Here we are having a PV diagram of a particular process in which the process is from I to F. Let a system be taken from an equilibrium state I to another equilibrium state F, followed by a reversible path I to F. Here it should be small I. So the meaning is that the actual process in this case is from equilibrium state I, that is beginning from this point, to another equilibrium state F. Okay, so this is the way the whole process is happening. That is a reversible process. So the meaning is that we can go from I to F as well as F to I. So this is our actual process through this reversible path I to F on a PV diagram. So you should only focus on this process I to F as of now. Now we are doing something which is slightly different, that is a reversible adiabatic I to A can be drawn through I, and another reversible adiabatic B to F can be drawn through F. So here if you see these two inclined lines, that is this green line and this line, are these two inclined lines are reversible adiabatic process, that is, or it can be written as isentropic one, where there is no heat loss, and a reversible adiabatic I to A can be drawn through I. So here the process will be like this. This will be our I to A portion, this process and this process. These two are reversible adiabatic processes. Okay, and there is another process which is a reversible isotherm process A to B. So this is another process A to B, this one. So as you can see here, we are replacing this red color process I to F by three different processes. First is I to A, then A to B, and then B to F. So here a reversible isotherm A to B is drawn in such a way that the area under IABF is equal to area under IF. So what is the meaning of this? To repeat this statement here, the area under this red curve will be equal to the area under this group of blue color lines. Okay, so as this is a PV diagram, as you can see, so if it is written that area under the curve as well as this combination of lines is same, that means the work done during both processes is same, because this is a PV diagram. Okay, so we can apply the first law for process I to F, which is our reversible path. I to F, that is for our original process. So here, as we are all aware that Qi to F is equal to change in internal energy, that is UF minus Ui, plus WIF, that is the work done during this path I to F. Okay, so now we can also apply the first law for the group of these lines, that is I to A, then A to B, and then B to F. So it can be written that QIABF is equal to UF minus UI plus WIABF. Now if you see carefully, the change in internal energy is same for both the processes. Why? Because the final state, the initial state and final state both are same for both the processes, and as internal energy is property of system and it does not depend on path, so the change in internal energy will remain same. Okay, and since this condition that WIF is equal to WIABF, why? Because it is presumed here that the area under the reversible isotherm, the area under IABF is equal to area under IF curve. So if area is same, then the work done is also same. So when we compare these two equations, let us say this as equation number 1 and let us say this as equation number 2. Then we can say that Q A to B is equal to Q I to F. So what they are trying to say here, that the heat transferred in the process I to F, that was our original process, is equal to the heat transferred in the isotherm A to B. Okay. So here for any reversible path, that was in our previous case it was I to F, it may be replaced by a reversible zigzag path between the same end states, consisting of a reversible adiabatic followed by a reversible isotherm and then again by a reversible adiabatic, such that the heat transferred during the isothermal process is equal to the heat transferred during the original process. So what is the meaning of this? If you see carefully, the replacement that we are having for this red curve, that is our original reversible path, is in this way. We have this kind of replacement here, that first we are having this as an adiabatic process, then we are having this kind of isotherm, and then again we are having a reversible adiabatic in this way. Okay, so here first, this is the first process, which is reversible adiabatic. Then this is our second process, that is reversible isothermal process, and third is reversible adiabatic again. So any process that we are having, any reversible process that we are having, our original reversible process was this. So here we have replaced this process with a blue zigzag path, and the same statement is written in this here. Again, if you see any reversible path, that red curve which was there in our previous slide may be substituted by a reversible zigzag path between the same end states, that is I and F are not changing. They are consisting of a reversible adiabatic followed by a reversible isotherm and then again by a reversible adiabatic, such that the heat transfer during the isothermal process is equal to the heat transfer during the original process. Now here, this is our original reversible circle, that is our cycle. So if I need to show you which we are talking about, is this. So currently we are talking about this curve, which is our original process or a cycle in this case. So let a smooth closed curve representing a reversible cycle. Let the closed cycle be divided into large number of strips by many reversible adiabatics. So here, if you see carefully, these lines, these curves, these are all reversible adiabatic processes or curves. So we have divided the whole process with the help of this reversible adiabatics. Okay, and each strip may be closed at the top and bottom by a reversible isotherm. So if you see, the green color curves are reversible adiabatics, and the isotherm that here we are discussing are this these are all reversible isotherms. Okay, so now we can zoom in for this. If you see here, this to repeat the entire part, here we are having this red circle as our original reversible cycle, and it is divided through these green curves which are reversible adiabatic, and they are cut at the top and bottom with the help of reversible isothermal processes. So if you recall, in our previous figure, we were replacing a particular curve with the help of one reversible adiabatic, then a reversible isotherm, and then again with the reversible adiabatic. Thus the same thing is done over here in such a way that the heat transfer during our original process and this replaced process are same. So the original cycle thus replaced by a zigzag closed path consisting of alternate adiabatic and isothermal processes, such that the heat transfer during all isothermal processes is equal to the heat transfer during the original cycle. And here we have replaced our original cycle with a large number of Carnot cycles. So why they are saying it to be a Carnot cycle? Because here if you see, if you take a single particular section, then if we take the first section, then it is like this, and here we are also having this. So to fix these points, let us say that we are having this to be point A, B, C and D and the curve is for PV diagram. So here we are having pressure and here we are having a volume, and the direction is like this. And one more thing that we should take care here is that here we are having entry of heat as D cut Q1 and the heat exit is D cut Q2. So as you all are aware that when we are having two adiabatics and two isothermal all being reversible, then it is a Carnot cycle. So this is a one part which is taken. Okay, just wait. Okay, so if you see, this small portion is drawn over here. Okay, so this is a single Carnot cycle and there are many other Carnot cycles which are present. So for an elemental cycle ABCD, which is drawn in our previous slide, okay, what you can do is you can pause this video and you can draw this figure as well as this figure so that you will be able to understand the formulas. Okay, so here heat is absorbed reversibly at T1 and D cut Q2 heat is rejected reversibly at T2. So we can write down this formula, okay, as we have studied this in our previous chapter. So if the heat supplied is taken to be positive and heat rejected as negative, then we can write down in this way. Why? Because the further simplification will be like this, that D cut Q1 upon T1 minus D cut Q2 upon T2 equal to 0. So as this is heat rejected and it is negative, so negative to and negative will become positive. So for other cycle EFGH we can write down in this way. So if similar equations are written for all elemental Carnot cycle, then we can write down in this way, or in general case it can be written in this way. So that is cyclic integral of D cut Q upon T is equal to 0. So and this is known as Clausius theorem. Here the letter R, that is this R, emphasizes the fact that the equation is valid only for a Carnot cycle. So this is all about a Clausius theorem. Now our next theory is the property of entropy. So let's focus on this figure. Here again we are dealing with PV diagram. In this PV diagram, our two states are there, I and F again, and it is having a thermodynamic cycle with two reversible paths R1 and R2 respectively, and the states are also equilibrium states. So let a system be taken from an initial equilibrium state I to final equilibrium state F, followed by a reversible path R1. That is, we are discussing about this process, R1 path and I to F process. The system is brought back from F to I by following another reversible path R2. That is this, and path is F to I. Then the two paths R1 and R2 together constitutes a reversible path. From a Clausius theorem we can write down this, again we have derived in our previous theory, that was Clausius theorem. So if you see carefully, then we are having two paths R1 and R2. In first path we are going from I to F, and in second path we are going from F to I. So that this is quite straightforward equation. And we can also write down in this way, that we have taken this term on the right hand side. Okay, and as R2 is reversible path, we can write down in this way. So what we have done, that we have taken this negative sign in this integral and we have changed the limits of the integration. So what they are trying to say here, that minus of integration F to I d cut q divided by t equal to integration I to F d cut q upon t. This is applicable for R2 path in this case. So as R2 is reversible path, we can write down in this way. Okay, so here since R2 and R1 and R2 both represent any two reversible paths, here this integral term, that is integration I to F d cut q over t over any reversible path, is now independent of a reversible path connecting I to F. So here, therefore, as this term, that is integral of I to F d cut q upon t, is independent of path, so therefore there exists a property of a system whose value at final state F minus its value at initial state I is equal to this integration, and this property is called as entropy, and it is denoted by S. So if Si just wait. So if Si is the property at initial state I and Sf is entropy at the final state F, then we can write down that this integral term is equal to the difference of property entropy, that is Sf minus Si. So here, when two equilibrium states are infinitesimally near, then we can directly remove this integral term and we can put a differential on the entropy side, that is d cut q reversible divided by T is equal to ds. Here, if you see carefully, here we are on the heat part we were using inexact differential d cut qr, and here ds is an exact differential. So here ds is an exact differential, because if you see that the heat differential is inexact and the differential of entropy is exact, because S is a point function and property, and subscript R in d cut q indicates that the heat d cut q is transferred reversibly. So this is all about our proof that entropy is a property of system. Now we will move forward with our next theory, that is the inequality of Clausius. So here we will focus on this figure first. Let us consider a cycle ABCD. Let us consider a cycle ABCD where AB is a general process. So this is our general process A to B. Okay, either reversible or irreversible, that we still don't know, and while the other processes are reversible. So here the other processes are, that is the next after AB we are having B to C, then the next process is C to D, and then we are having a process D to A. So these are reversible processes. Okay, so the flow is like this. Okay, A, B, C, D cycle. AB is a general process, either reversible or irreversible, while other processes are reversible. And let me mind you that here this diagram is not PV diagram, actually this is a TS diagram. Okay, and in this TS diagram, sorry, TV diagram, temperature volume diagram, and in this process C to D is an isothermal process. Now let the cycle be divided into number of elementary cycles as shown in the figure. So how we have divided them? Here we have taken this as reversible adiabatic curves, as we have done in our previous theory also. Okay, so these are all reversible adiabatic processes, and apart from this, if you see, we are here having few isothermal strips, small strips, that is this one, this, and this one. So here, if you see carefully, then what we are intending right now is our original cycle was A to B through this red curve, B to C, C to D, and D to A through the remaining three green lines or curves. And what we have done, that we have utilized few reversible adiabatics visible through our this blue lines, and we have added few isothermal strips. So if we want, this portion will be our one cycle, this will be another cycle, similarly this will be another one. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, so the entire original cycle ABCD is replaced by 5 small cycles, and these all small cycles have a characteristic that it will have two reversible isotherms. That is, the first is this is yellow isotherm and this is green isotherm, and two reversible adiabatics, that is this blue reversible adiabatic, and in this case here it is a one green reversible adiabatic. So I can show you that what exactly I am trying to say. So this is our first reversible isotherm, then it is like this here also, and here this is the last one. Okay, so here the flow is like this. Okay, so I have drawn this portion, and these are the points A and this as point D. So this is one form of a Carnot cycle, small Carnot cycle, and like that we are having total of 5 cycles. Okay, for one of these elementary cycles we can write down in this way, that is, if you see here, we are having this portion as d cut q, and here we are having d cut q2. Okay, so here this is the quantity of heat which is supplied, and here this is the heat which is rejected. And if you recall, our standard formula in case of Carnot cycle for efficiency was like this: 1 minus q2 by q1, that is 1 minus heat rejected divided by heat supplied. So the same formula is written here for this small Carnot cycle, that is eta is equal to 1 minus d cut q2 by dq, where d cut q is the heat supplied at temperature T, it should be T1, and or T, no, T is correct, it is T only, because here we are having only d cut q, and d cut q2 the heat rejected at T2. Now the efficiency of a general cycle will be equal to or less than the efficiency of reversible cycle, that we have proved in our previous chapter. So this is the efficiency of any cycle, and this is the efficiency of reversible cycle. So the efficiency of reversible cycle will always be greater than or equal to the efficiency of any other cycle. So here we can write down the remaining part is only mathematics. So based on this relationship, we can write down d cut q2 by dq is greater than or equal to d cut q2 upon d cut q reversible. Or we can inverse this and we can write down, so if we inverse this, that is replacing numerator with denominator, we can write down in this way, that d cut q upon d cut q2 is less than or equal to d cut q upon d cut q2 for reversible cycle. So here if you see, for reversible cycle we can simply put temperature ratio, that is, let me write down over here, which is additional one, d cut q divided by d cut q2 reversible equal to T upon T2. So in the same formula, I am talking about this formula. For this formula, here we have replaced the right hand side with this ratio. Okay, so that's why we are getting this formula, and furthermore we can write down d cut q over T is less than or equal to d cut q2 upon T2 for any process A to B. So based on that, for any reversible process, we know that ds is equal to d cut q reversible upon T as per our previous theory, that is entropy as a property of system. Then we can write down d cut q2 upon T2, and for any process AB it will be like this. Okay, and for any cycle we can write down this formula, that cyclic integral of d cut q upon T is less than or equal to cyclic integral of ds. If you still feel confused, you should better write down all these equations, okay, and then you will be able to understand the remaining part over here, that this is already known. So for any process it will be less than or equal to ds, and we can also write down this in a cyclic form. Since the entropy is a property of system. Since entropy is the property of system, so the cyclic integral of any property is 0. So we can write down this, that cyclic integral of d cut q upon t is less than or equal to 0. So based on this is the equation for Clausius inequality, and it provides criterion for reversibility of a cycle. So this is very important box, that if it is equal to 0, if this cyclic integral is equal to 0, then it is a reversible cycle, and as it is, if it is a less than 0, then it will be an irreversible cycle and it is possible, and if it is greater than 0, then the cycle is impossible and it violates the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, so this is very important criterion to understand. Now our next theory is entropy change in an irreversible process. So let us focus on this figure. For any process undergone by a system, we have this form, that is d cut q upon t is less than or equal to ds, or the reverse of this is ds is always greater than or equal to d cut q upon t. This is further clarified if we consider the cycle as shown in the figure, where A and B are reversible processes and C is irreversible process. So for us, there is going to be two different cycles that we are going to consider for this theory. So the end states are 1 and 2. So this is one cycle which we can follow, where we are getting both processes to be a reversible one, and there can be another process in which we are having the first process to be a reversible one and second process to be an irreversible one, like this. Okay, so here for reversible cycle consisting of A and B, which is shown with the help of the red color, for reversible cycle we can write down the integration for reversible cycle is equal d cut q upon t is equal to the first one. First is through path A. Through path A we can write down this is the first integral through path A, and then plus path B, that is this integral, and here as this term is an entropy and we are having this as a cycle, so it is equal to 0. So you should be careful with the integral limits, that for process A it is from 1 to 2 and for process B the integral limits is from 2 to 1. And here we have taken the second term on the right hand side with a negative sign over here. So we will keep this up to this for our this red color cycle. That is, this will be our equation number 1. Then for the irreversible cycle consisting of A and C, that is now our green cycle. By Clausius inequality we can write down this. Here it is less than 0. Let me repeat one more thing here, that here this is not due to being a property of system, but based on the Clausius inequality, that is the less than or equal to 0 term, as this entire cycle is reversible one, that's why we are putting it equal to 0. And in this case here, that is for our green cycle, which is combination of reversible cycle and irreversible, reversible process and irreversible process. Here the cyclic integral d cut, it should be d cut q upon t is equal to integral 1 to 2 d cut q upon t for A, that is this, so these two processes, and it is always going to be less than 0. Now here what we have done, we have utilized equation number 1. So we have replaced this path A term with this path B term here. Okay, so what is written over here, that this again is taken on the right hand side over here, and it is greater than. Okay, so now since the path B is reversible path, we can write down this, that is integral from 2 to 1 d cut q upon t for path B is equal to integral 2 to 1 ds for path B. So since entropy is a property and entropy changes for path B and C would be same. Why? Because if you see this figure, the end states for path B and C are same, so the entropy change will be same. So here it can be written that integral 2 to 1 ds for path B will be equal to integral 2 to 1 ds for path C. Why? Because both path B and path C are having same end states, and entropy being a property of system, it does not depend on path, but it only depends on the end states, that is a point function. So here, so integration, so this formula is written based on our previous slide, that you can see. You can write down this formula in your notebook for your reference, and you can compare it over here, that ds integration is greater than d cut q upon t. For any irreversible process, we can write down ds to be greater than d cut q upon t, and for a reversible process it will be equal to d cut q reversible upon t. So for general case we can write down ds to be greater than or equal to d cut q upon t. So here if we need to see, we can write down three different options. Here ds greater than d cut q upon t will be the irreversible process when we are having ds is equal to d cut q upon t, then it will be a reversible process, and when ds is greater than d cut q upon t, it will, I need to change the inequality sign. When it is less than, then it will be impossible process. Okay, so here we can also write down in this way. Here I need to slightly make one change. Okay. So S2 minus S1 is greater than or equal to integration 2 to 1 d cut q upon t. The equality sign holds good for reversible cycle and inequality sign is for irreversible cycle. So I am also taking one more topic which is not part of this slide, that is very small one. Okay, our next topic is entropy principle. So here I will be writing down everything on this slide, that as we all know that ds will always be greater than or equal to d cut q upon t for any infinitesimal reversible process. Infinitesimal process, if it is equal then it will be reversible, and if it is greater then it will be irreversible, as we have seen in our previous slide. Now if we take an isolated system, okay, so we have seen three types of systems in our beginning of this subject, that open system, closed system and isolated system. The main feature of isolated system is d cut q is 0 in such case for an isolated system. So what we can write down, that ds in case of isolated system will be greater than or equal to 0. So now there are two things which are possible out of this. First is for a reversible process, and another option is for irreversible process. We are not going to discuss about impossible process. So here what we will be getting is ds of isolated system is equal to 0, as we know, and ds for isolated system is greater than 0. So here for this case, that is for reversible process, S will be equal to constant because the differentiation is 0. Okay, so the meaning is that for an isolated system the entropy remains constant, and for the same isolated system, okay, let me repeat this part, that for an isolated system, if the process is reversible, then the entropy remains constant, and for an irreversible process and an isolated system, the entropy always increases. So here it is proved that entropy of isolated system can never decrease. To repeat again, the entropy of an isolated system can never decrease. Either it can remain constant in a reversible process, or it will increase in case of irreversible process. And here this is known as principle of increase of entropy, or simply the entropy of the entropy principle. Okay, now here one more thing that I would like to add is, let us say that here we are having our system and the remaining are surrounding. Okay, and when we combine these two together, let us say that we combine system and surrounding together, then it becomes a universe. Okay, and this universe behaves exactly as an isolated system. So for that case, what we will have is ds of universe is always greater than or equal to 0. So as this entire universe is made up of two things, that is system and surrounding, we can write down ds system plus ds surrounding is always greater than or equal to 0. So here what they are trying to say, that overall summation of change of entropy of system plus surrounding will always be greater than 0. And one more thing that I would like to add here, that there can be a decrease of entropy for either system or surrounding, but the overall summation will always be greater than or equal to 0. So what is the meaning of this? Let me repeat this statement, that there can be a decrease in entropy for either system or surrounding, but overall there will be always an increase in the entropy of universe. So this is like, let us say that plus 5 minus 2 is equal to 3 is always greater than 0 or equal to 0, greater than or equal to 0. So there is a decrease of entropy at one section. However, the increase in entropy at another section will be much higher than the previous one, such that the overall summation will always be greater than 0. So this is all about the entropy principle, and I will add all the contents properly for this topic in our next lecture, and we will begin our new topic next time. So this is end of today's lecture. Let me quickly revisit everything. So we started with Clausius theorem. We started with Clausius theorem, and then the next was we proved that entropy is a property of system. This is inequality of Clausius, and at the end of inequality of Clausius we arrive to this important criteria for a process to be reversible or irreversible. Then entropy change in irreversible process, and the last was entropy principle. So this is the end of today's lecture. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.